My friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. John Cena's final match will be one of the most historic days and nights and events in WWE history. I mean, John Cena has had numerous historic events. That's why he is the greatest of all time. I mean, most recently, John Cena's heel turn with The Rock was one of the most iconic and historic moments in WWE history, and his final match will be nothing short of remarkable, and it will be remembered forever. I mean, if you're going to go out, this is an amazing way to go out. A year's worth of matches, a year's worth of moments, all leading up to exactly when you want to go out on your terms. John Cena says, this is it, I'm going out here. And the question still remains, up until the very moment that his opponent comes out, who will be John Cena's final opponent? Names have been being thrown around of Gunther, of The Rock, of a gauntlet match, of Joe Hendry. My top pick is the gauntlet match. Then it's Gunther. Then it's The Rock. Then it's, whoever else they might throw out there. The Miz, freaking Edge coming over from AEW, whatever the case may be. But that's the discussion right now. Who is going to be John Cena's final opponent? And then we have The Rock. How does The Rock play into all of this? Well, he keeps pissing me off. The Rock keeps pissing me off. He ruined WrestleMania. I don't understand why he was involved in the heel turn. It just didn't make any sense. And then he disappeared, and then he goes away, and then he comes back, and then he shows up on the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelsey, and he says, I have a tiny bit of influence. I have a tiny bit of influence in the booking of it, but it's really whoever John wants. Talking about he has a tiny bit of influence in who John Cena will face in his final match. The Rock has a tiny bit of influence in the booking, which means he has a tiny bit of booking or influence in all of the bookings. So why did he book himself so poorly and disappear during WrestleMania season after one of the most historic moments in WWE history, and then he vanishes? If he has a tiny bit of influence, The Rock owns, I think it's like 0.17% of TKO. So that's how tiny his bit of influence is, but he is The Rock, right? So he has more of an influence in being that person than his actual ownership and stake in the company that he owns. But he says he has influence over John Cena's final match, then kind of gives like a face on the New Heights podcast that it might be The Rock who shows up to face John Cena in his final match. But The Rock says then it's really up to John. It's not up to Nick Khan. It's not up to Triple H. It's not up even to The Rock. It's up to John Cena. Now, is that true? I have no idea. Because Triple H has been saying for a while now that it's John Cena's choice. John Cena's picked all of his opponents. John Cena now has been saying for a while that Triple H has picked all of his opponents, and he's just doing what he's told like he's always done for the last 20 years. So who's actually pulling the strings? I believe John Cena is making most of the decisions. The matches versus R-Truth, right? Logan Paul type stuff. Like maybe the Logan Paul wasn't John Cena's choice, but definitely the stuff with AJ Styles, that was his choice recently. The stuff with Cody Rhodes, the heel turn, the stuff with R-Truth, that stuff is all John Cena. Now, of course, Triple H and Nick Khan and all the WWE people have a say in what happens because it's part of the show, and they want to make the show great. But I think John does have a lot of say in what's happening, especially in this year. And I think it was heavily planned out before it even happened because it had to, with logistics and John doing so many different movies and TV shows and him having to be in a certain place and like this and that and everything having to be orchestrated perfectly. And then The Rock comes in here and kind of throws everything for a wrench with his heel turn, with his final boss, with his like sell me your soul type of shit, and then disappearing at WrestleMania, and then John Cena going back to babyface, then coming on this podcast and saying that he has influence and sort of hinting at the fact that he might be John Cena's final opponent. Will we see The Rock versus John Cena 3? Will that be the final match in John Cena's career? Who knows? I don't know. I would love, ideal situation, it's a gauntlet match and The Rock is the final person in the gauntlet. Gunther is the first person in the gauntlet. The Rock is the final person in the gauntlet. And you have some awesome people in between. Joe Hendry, The Miz, Randy Orton, things of that nature to make it the coolest, best retirement match of all time, ending with this epic stare down between The Rock and John Cena. The only person that will be better would be Edge, but that's almost impossible because Edge works for AEW. And so it's just interesting to see what The Rock says when he's on this podcast and how he hints at stuff and that he has influence over booking. And then, of course, he ends by basically saying that John Cena is as advertised. Like, he is who you think he is. He's a great dude. The Rock says he loves that guy. He's a great dude. He comes as advertised. And that's a beautiful thing to say about John, just because that's who he portrays. That's who he tries to be. That's the values and the characters he tries to live up to. And it's nice to know that people closest to him think that he's a great dude and he actually comes as advertised. I absolutely love John Cena. He's in my Mount Rushmore. My Mount Rushmore is John Cena, Macho Man Randy Savage, Randy Orton, and Shawn Michaels. I think John Cena is the greatest of all time, but when it's all said and done, I think that might be Roman Reigns. When it's all said and done, we say 10 years from now, Roman Reigns might be the greatest of all time, and we might be having this conversation on his retirement tour about Roman Reigns being the greatest of all time. But right now, in this current day, on October 15th, 2025, John Cena is the greatest of all time, and I'm very intrigued about who's going to be John Cena's final match, and it's also going to be, a sad day because John Cena was a huge part of my life. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 12. John Cena's been wrestling for the last 20 years. Like, that's a huge bulk of my life. So thank you, John Cena. We all love you very much, and we appreciate what you've done for us as fans. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Then like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.